it is I, your Senpai. Last week we were working on the premise of our stories and making a web. As you can see behind me, I started mine. I already have had my idea for quite some time, so what I did is went back and thought about where I started with my story, looking at old notes and going off those and trying to remember where I was way back when. And it's interesting to see how different the story is from where it was a long time ago. So this week what we're going to be working on is the 7-step plot. It's universal, so it should be good to use for any length of story, any type of story, genre. You can take and add to this as you need to, but I found this works pretty well for just about every story. Step 1 is the starting point. Pretty obvious, it's where your story starts. For this whole process, I'm going to be using the example of Cinderella to help kind of visualize these plot points. So we start out with a young girl who's basically forced into slavery, cleaning her stepmother's house. Step 2, Inciting Incident. So this step is the point in your story where if this point did not happen, the story would not have happened. In my example before, we were doing Cinderella, the inciting incident is the ball being announced and Cinderella wants to go. Step 3, end of beginning. So the end of the beginning is also known as the exotic world, and what that means is your character is now in this new place that they've never been in before, experiencing things that they've never experienced before, because of things that have happened with the inciting incident. In the case of Cinderella, this is her being transformed into this beautiful princess and going to the ball and having the nicest night of her entire life. Step 4 is the crisis. This is the main problem the character or characters face throughout the story. For the example of Cinderella, she has this outfit until midnight. Step 5 is the climax, so the highest point of action in your story. In the example of Cinderella, this would be the chase after she leaves, as the clock is striking midnight and she's run away and she's left her shoe there and the prince is like, bruh, where are you going? Step 6 is hopelessness. This is one that I don't find is in every story, but works pretty well for my stories. Hopelessness is kind of self-explanatory. Your characters no longer have any hope. Everything looks dire. What are we going to do? We can't figure our way. We can't fight our way out of this problem, whatever this problem wind up being. The example for Cinderella would be when her stepmother locks her up in the attic and her sisters are trying on the glass slipper downstairs, and the prince's servant dudes... What would you call those? Okay, so when the prince's servants are starting to leave the house and she can't find her way out. Number 7 is the resolution. So this, of course, is how your story winds up resolving. You can have this open-ended if you plan on making it a series, or if you don't and are just open to fanfic. Either way, this is the way your story closes. Everything wraps up and all the characters are either good or they're not. The example for this in Cinderella would have been when she found her prince, or the prince found her, I guess. She tries on the slipper, it fits, and she lives happily ever after as a princess in her castle. So that's what you'll be working on this week. You'll be working on this story skeleton, trying to figure out all those different plot points, deciding whether you're going to add or subtract from them, and have fun with it. And do not forget to take notes. Always take notes. If you're participating in this challenge and want your work to be seen by me and other people, go ahead and tag me and novel in a year. So what will it be? Hashtag Sleepy Senpai novel in a year. You can also tag me in any of my social media listed down below. So that's all for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next week. Bye! She farted. That's heckin' gross. Now it's in my video forever, Persephone. What step are we on? 4? Crisis?
Yes.
for the example of Cinderella, this would be the fact that she has this get-up until midnight.
I thought you were gonna say ghetto.
She's got this ghetto. Working on that sort of story skeleton until... I forgot what I was doing because I got distracted by the word skeleton.
What word skeleton? Oh, you're talking about story skeleton. I was like, there's a skeleton?
Yo.
I thought you had one of those like skeleton things that you find at like Spirit.
No!
I was like, what? You have one of those? I'm jealous.
Is the next one tag me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing sign language at me?
Dang it, you knew.
What are you saying to me?
It was just A, B, C. Now I'm gonna do something.
I thought you were... Oh, God. I was remembering a silent voice and how she learned to do baka, and so I thought that's what you were doing at me because I couldn't quite see what you were doing.